Hello guys and welcome back. So now I wanted to take a look at how we can create a thrust effect that we see a lot in movies where you have an engine exhaust shooting down smoke that collides with the ground. And this is something really simple to create with our system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave everything the same and then we'll tweak it from there. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a ground. Let me remove the rotation. I'm going to add a ground here. It's the ground. Let's extend this a little bit. Maybe 3 downward. 2 on both sides, just adding a little bit of padding there. And then all I'm going to do is add a gravity. Okay? And gravity is set to -9.8. And I'm going to hit play. And you can see already we're getting a very interesting effect by just having gravity applied to the smoke and having a ground collision. Actually, let this run for a few seconds so we get an idea about the effects. Cool, let's take a look at this here. Make sure we're viewing it. Yeah, so this is the high res. Let me turn off velocity so we don't stream a lot of data from DOPS. Sorry. You can see now we're shooting down smoke and then it's cooling down, and all of this is just using by simply adding the velocity, and the temperature here is going to look really detailed. We're going to see a lot of interesting details just by adding this. Now remember, we have a velocity coming, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the source here, and instead of under the velocity, instead of -1, I'm going to change it to -1 in Z, so it shoots down downward. Okay, and let's hit play. You can view it here. Cool, so now the smoke is shooting downwards and we're getting our thrust effect. Now, because of the gravity and all the temperature, we're also going to get a very interesting dissipation here, where the fast moving parts will be hotter and moving this direction, and then everything else that where the temperature dissipates is gonna slow down. Cool, so let's take a look at this. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go back and move the ground a little bit down so we have a longer stream. Let's say -4. Cool, and let's increase the gravity a little bit. Actually, let's increase the velocity instead so it shoots down faster. And we don't have to show this. We don't have to show this with temperature. We can just show the smoke if we want to. But then we can also show it with temperature. Now, let's say we didn't like how far the temperature is going. What we can do in that case, we can duplicate the temperature and have a different decay for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new field. I want to leave the temperature that I have and make a new field that I can use for to fake the temperature. But we want to keep all the temperature that we have because we like the behavior. So I'm going to call this fake temp. Okay, and then we're going to dive inside this guy. Actually, we don't have to do anything. Inside the gas calculate, where we copy the temperature, where we copy the custom temp into the temperature, we're going to copy it to the fake temperature, this guy. Okay, so now we have our own data. I'm not going to clear it because I wanted to actually I can clear it. I'm going to clear the fake No, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't need to clear it. We have to leave it as it is. But we need to create our own custom decay for this. So I'm gonna copy that volume VOP. So what is this for? This, call it decay temperature, just to be clear. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna import the fake temp. Let me just verify the name. Yeah, fake temp. And we want to decay that. So let's export it back. And I'm going to decay it using a different rate, let's say 0.5. Now, remember, this has nothing to do with the current temperature. Okay? We're just copying the same data that we're using for the actual temperature into this fake temp field. Okay? And then we're decaying it using our own decay node. So every frame it's going to decay 0.5. Now inside the pyro here, we're going to leave the temperature as it is. Okay, but I'm going to, we're not going to use the temperature to display it. We're going to display the fake temp. Okay, and let's take a look at that. And now the sim should stay exactly the same. And again, we're gonna it's gonna run out of sync where we may see data that is rising or moving fast, behaving differently. But in reality, the sim has its original temperature if we wanted to. But this is a custom information that we created, and you can see it decays faster. Now let's put back the temperature. You see, they're different. Let me increase this even more, so we decay it even faster. Okay. And let's make sure we're viewing that. Cool, so it's much lower in terms of intensity. But what I'd like to do, instead of multiplying it by this value, I'm going to actually subtract from it. And this is going to be a bit more aggressive than the multiplication. So I'm going to subtract a certain value. Let's start with 0.1 every frame and see how that affects the field. And make sure we're viewing the fake temp. Cool. Okay. Everything is working. Let's increase this value here. Let's try 10. Yeah, and it's decaying. You can see it's decaying a lot faster now. Let's try 100. And this should remove it completely in just a few frames. Okay, let's try 15. Cool, so now we have a custom field that is being decayed completely differently from the original temperature, and we can use whatever information we want if we like to do that. So this is just an idea that we can apply. Let me copy this, and we need to stream, we need to import that data. So I'll just type it here, fake temp. I want it to be invisible, and let's turn it on. And then here I'm gonna select the fake temp. It's in this list now. Cool, so let's compare. So this is the temperature, same mapping, same everything, and this is the fake temp. And you can do all kinds of interesting effects with this. You can also, instead of just using the temperature, for example, I can create a volume wrangle. Okay, and I want to modify the temperature to be the multiplication of, or I want to add the temperature to that fake temperature. I want to make it stronger at the beginning. So I'm gonna say F temperature plus equal, and I want to add the fake temp. Okay, and let's looks like this is going between into the negative range, so let's clamp it between 0 and 100. So fake temp, so we remove all the negative values. 0,000. Okay, let's turn this off. You can see it how it's you can see it's adding more details to the sim, to this field at least, and we can also multiply it by 4, for example, so it's brighter in that area. And again, this is just an idea of what we can do to create custom fields in DOPS, and it's something that we're going to be looking at in future weeks. Okay, let me run this at a higher resolution. Oh, I remember one more thing. We're going to add one more thing that is really really strong, and we're going to add a gas dissipate. And I want to dissipate the density really fast. So in this case, gas evaporate rate to 0.4, and let's see how that gives us, what that gives us. It's not strong enough. Let's increase it even more. Let's try 0.8. Cool. So now it's fading. It's fading much quicker. Now, one thing that we see a lot with this effect, or we try to create a lot of times, is having a lot of volume rising up and added in the surrounding area. So as the smoke progress, we want to get that nice rolling effect. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the divergence. Let me turn off the dissipation. Hopefully this will help. So inside the gas calculate, remember we're injecting this custom divergence, and let me actually restore to view the original temperature, because that's what we're using. I want to inject a little bit more of that. I want to increase the divergence. And that should help. Well, it can add a huge amount of smoke if we wanted to. So that will add the amount of smoke that we need surrounding the borders as well as in the center, which should help as well. So we're gonna get, yeah, you can see we're gonna get a lot more smoke coming from the sphere. So let me run this at a high resolution, and let me put back the dissipation. I'm gonna lower it to 0.4. I think it was very extreme, and I'm gonna lower this to 2, and I will run a sim, and we'll take a look at it in the next frame. I'm gonna use this this setting. Cool. So I'm gonna let it run, and then we'll continue in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.